Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fat Doctor podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ashalai, and I don't even know when it is by the time you'll be listening to this, but right now it's really hot. So I don't know, it might be winter by the time you hear this, but right now it's very hot. I'm very hot. And I've got this light on me and I'm sweating and I'm a bit of a mess, but that's okay. Um, I sent a message to a friend not that long ago, and the message went, I know I'm not supposed to be happy about this, but, and I'm not going to tell you what the but was. I'm not going to tell you who died. I'll let you remember, cast your mind back to the middle of July. Somebody might have died, and I might have not been unhappy about it. Let's put it that way. I wasn't happy. I never rejoice in death, but it was one less bigot in the world. And so I wrote, I know I'm not supposed to be happy about this, but. And she wrote back, who says you're not supposed to be happy about it? The people who say that, like, why? And it really got me thinking. It really got me thinking about the things that I sort of like the excuses I give for saying the things that I want to say. It's like, I know I'm not supposed to be happy, but I am happy. You know? Says who? Who says I'm not supposed to be happy in the first one? Why can't I just go, I'm really happy about this? I'm really happy that there's one less bigot in the world today. It's quite nice. And that person spent their entire life making trans people's lives really fucking miserable. And now they're gone. Hey, you know what? They lived a long life anyway. It's not like they weren't young or anything. Like, but I'm all right with that. It's not just I'm not just all right with that. I'm a little bit like, oh, good. One less person actively taking away my rights, like literally seeking to tell me where I can and cannot piss, where like if I can exist, if I literally seeking to legalize whether I do or do not exist, my entire existence. Well, they're gone. Ah, I know. I told you I wasn't nice. So anyway, I wrote down a list of things that I have been telling myself, or stories I've been told, and I have been telling myself for quite some time, and how I'm no longer doing that anymore. And I just thought you might like to hear them, just to be reminded. Here we go. Everything happens for a reason. The fuck it does. I mean, that is not true. I agree. Everything does happen for a reason. The reason is racial capitalism, patriarchy. But yeah, like it does happen for a reason. And so you're just missing the point. It's not like divine intervention. It's not a silver lining to every cloud. Like, sure, like it's important to be able to see the bright side sometimes and to process what you're going through and to look for the positive things and gratitude and all that jazz. Like, I got that. But like everything happens for a reason, yes. Because there are certain individuals, nefarious individuals, who are in positions of power, who are making things happen for a reason. You want to know why we've been sweltering in 2026, where we have had heat waves that, like, have been like destroying us, forest fires and all that shit? Like, want to know why? Because of climate change. Like, you can go ahead and deny it if you want. Like, you can deny the facts, you can deny all the evidence, but that is the reason it's happening. So when you're sweltering through a heat wave, it's not like, oh, everything happens for a reason. Yes, it does. Climate change. That's the reason. Everything happens for a reason. Moving on. I don't need to beat that one to death. I think that's done. Okay. I alluded to this last week, I think. Um, if you try hard enough, you will succeed. The people who say that have never had to try hard. The people who say that are so fucking privileged. If you try hard enough, you'll succeed. Yeah, you're successful because you were like a step ahead of the game. You were at the front of the line, and now you're even further along. Congratulations. Those of us at the back of the line never had a chance. This is absolute bullshit. And we use it in health. I sort of alluded to it recently. Like, if you just try hard enough, your health will be good. No. And here's why: genetics, epigenetics, transgenerational epigenetics, social factors, environmental factors, pollution, climate change, um, exploitation, healthcare inequalities, financial insecurity. I could keep going. Like that's all the reasons, some of the reasons why, no matter how hard you try, you can't necessarily quote unquote succeed. Okay? And I want you to remember that. If you're disabled, if your joints are hurting and you can't move, if your sugars are high, if your cholesterol high, if your blood pressure is high, if you've just been dealt a diagnosis that, is generally blamed on weight, if you're looking at the scales and wondering, how the fuck did I get here? Like, all of those things. If you're gaining weight and you don't understand why, and you're just looking for a reason because you're like, no, why is this happening to me? I know I'm not supposed to try pursuing weight loss, but I'm gaining weight. I want to stop it. Like, all of those things. You're being told that you know, it's because you're not trying hard enough. That's not true. It's happening for another reason. Um, Follow the rules and it will work out. Like something to that degree. I mean, people don't actually say it like that, but you know, if you do this, it's going to work out. This to me is like diet culture 101. If you insert diet here, you will lose weight. And my favorite now is people who are like listening to the arguments against why that's true, you know, and going, oh yes, no, I agree. Weight loss is not that simple. Do this instead, and you will lose weight. I remember arguing once with this guy. I don't remember his name. Such a dick. And he had this like rabid group of supporters who were just like yappy little dogs, always fighting with me, because he was one of these people that was just like, weight loss is really hard. Like, you know, it's really hard. And like came up with all like set point weight, talk about set point and all this shit. Here's how to change your set point. That's what he did. Like set point weight is a thing, and then this is how to reduce your set point weight. Right? So he was the most exploitative man met in a really long time. And again, my rules work. Like I know. Of course, he was a man. How many times have you been in? Oh, is it just me? Where there's some fucking dick in athletic wear, young man, telling women over a certain age about how perimenopause makes it so much harder to lose weight, but don't worry, he has the key to success. And I'm just like, someone needs to cut off your dick. They need to geld you. That is the solution to this problem, is gelding on a mass scale. The minute you have the audacity to tell how to lose weight during perimenopause, cut it off. Instead of cut off their head, cut off, like we could make a mini guillotine. Oh, it's just, oh, I'd like to write a book about that. Anyway, the reason why the rules, why it doesn't matter, why weight loss is not possible, is something called adaptive thermogenesis. If you don't know what that is, I talk about it in my book. No way. Everything you've been told about weight loss is a lie. It gets in the second chapter. Just adaptive thermogenesis. It explains very simply that the moment you try restricting your energy intake, the first thing that will happen is your metabolic rate reduces, and the second thing will happen is your appetite will increase, and then you have an energy gap, and then after a while, weight loss slows down, and then you reach the peak called the nadir or nadir, and then you start regaining weight, and that's just what happens. It's the weight loss cycle, and there's no way getting around that. I don't care who you are and what that bro said on Facebook. It's just not possible. And before you come up with, oh, but I know somebody, or what about this person? It's in the book. I don't even want to have this conversation anymore. I'm tired of having this conversation. It's in the book. If you don't want to read the book, don't read the book. But if you want to have the argument, argue with the book. Okay, there are some things I'm working out my issues, as you can probably tell. This is this is less this is less about diet culture. There's good on both sides, or there's good and bad on both sides. Um, I, I really hate when I talk to people about weight stigma when they're like, not all doctors. Oh, there are some good doctors out there. You know, or like let's try and find a reason why doctors are behaving this way. Let's try and explain it. And come on, let's good on both sides. Stop being so. What is it? The word that they use, like polarized. Stop polarizing people. Fucking, I'm not polarizing people. Racial capitalism polarized people. And you know how it polarized people? Because it put the wealthy 1% at the top and it put everyone else at the fucking bottom. Like that's polarization. You just want to ignore all of that. You want to ignore all of that shit and just make it about me being a bit too controversial. Be nicer. Stop being so disagreeable. Stop being so nasty. Stop polarizing people. It's not one or the other. No, it's not. You're right. It's not. It's never a binary. It's not binary, and there's always complexity and there's always nuance. However, when people say there's good on both sides, what they're really trying to say is, I want to get away with the shit that I've been getting away with, and if you just admit that there's good on my side too, then I can get away with it. Like, they just want you to tell them they're good. Like, they're not. Sometimes like, I don't believe in heroes and villains, but sometimes it is one group of people exploiting another group of people. Sometimes it is inequality. Sometimes it is like, something that is beyond an individual's control. A lot of times it is. So stop saying there's good on both sides. Sometimes a doctor is stigmatizing a patient, and there is a right side and a wrong side. There is a bad and a good. There is a right and a wrong. Like the doctor is not supposed to stigmatize the patient. Full stop. No excuses. There isn't another. There's no but, yes, maybe, and, or. No. Doctors shouldn't stigmatize their patients. Full stop. Next paragraph. Whenever someone says there's good and bad, there's good on both sides, the first question you should be asking yourself is who paid you to say that? Who are you and who do you work for? No, really, seriously, honestly, who do you work for? What's the agenda here? Because it's unnecessary otherwise. Another one that I hear is about forgiving and moving on. Just let it go, let it be. Oh, Asha, there's no point getting upset about it. Just forgive and move on. I do think there's a really important message there. There's always a kernel of truth in all of these things. There's an element of truth, and forgiveness is important, or letting it go, like holding on to anger and bitterness and resentment is just not helping me. Forget the other person. Like, I don't give a fuck about them, but me, it's not helping me. Um, but oftentimes when people want you to forgive and move on, it's because they are choosing reconciliation over accountability and repair. Just if you reconcile, then we don't have to do the work. I'm so sick of that. Like, my therapist sometimes tells me, justice is important to you. And I'm like, yeah, it fucking is. It is. There's nothing wrong with that. She's like, no, 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 I know, I know. She never judged me. She's amazing. Have I mentioned that she's amazing? But yeah, justice is important to me, by the way. Sorry about that. No, sorry, not sorry. It is important to me. And I think it's important to a lot of autistic people. And I think it should be important to everybody. Justice, I feel like it should be one of these like guiding principles through life. Um, Justice requires accountability and repair when things go wrong. I'm not saying people shouldn't make mistakes. I think we should be all free to make mistakes. I think perfectionism is terrible. I think everybody should be free to make mistakes. And when they make a mistake, there should be accountability and there should be repair, restoration, not reconciliation. Reconciliation is oftentimes part of the accountability and the repair, but it is not instead of. It should not be instead of. It should be as well as including. And those of us who are on the receiving end of injustice, who are experiencing a lot of oppression, maybe it's because we have multiple marginalized identities, or maybe it's just because we exist in a fat body. That's enough to be oppressed always, at all times, in all areas of your life. Um, a lot of well-meaning people, and sometimes it's people you care, like who care about you and actually have your best interests at heart. I'm thinking of my mother here, like just forgive and move on. Like, don't get upset about it because they don't want you to be upset. So like, don't get upset. Just like forget about it. Like, leave it. Like, just forget about it. Like, don't let them get in your head. Don't let them, don't let them live in your head rent free. They are in my head rent free. They hurt me. Stop telling me to let it go. Like, I do need to let it go. I do need to process it. I get that. But what I need you to do is just sit with me in the challenging part. I need you to just be with me in the fuck, this part sucks portion of the day, rather than telling me to just move on. Um, it's kind of similar. And I think, again, a lot of fat people will experience this on a regular basis. They have your best interest at heart. I know they upset you, but they do have your best interests at heart. People say this about doctors all the time. They don't. They don't. They don't. Who says doctors have your best interest at heart? A load of shit. Doctors are looking out for themselves just like everybody else. All right? That's the end of it. So, this is oftentimes, hang on, sorry. My daughter has decided to play the guitar. See me knocking on the door? Right, the door, the window, yeah. Stop it. Um, where were we? They have your best interests at heart. They don't. That is harm dressed up as health concern. When someone says, I have your best interest at heart, and they are hurting you, they don't have your best interest at heart. They want to harm you and they want to excuse their behavior. Once again, no accountability, no repair, just reconciliation. So, no, don't do that. Don't buy into that shit. Stop thinking that doctors have your best interest at heart because they don't. I'm not saying they never do. Some doctors, again, not all doctors. It's like saying not all men. Like, I'm not even getting to this argument with you. Stop assuming the best. Feel free to assume the worst and then let them prove you wrong. You can assume that no doctor has your best interest at heart. And then when a doctor does have your best interest at heart, you can be pleasantly surprised. Oh, Trust is something that should be earned, not automatically given. I'm sick and tired of telling that, trust me. Why should I trust you? Give me a reason to trust you. Show me the fucking receipts, man, and then I'll trust you. Give me a chance to, earn my trust. Then I'll trust you. But I'm not just going to trust you because you told me to, because you're a doctor, because you have DR before your name. Well, it doesn't automatically earn your trust. No, they do not have your best interest at heart. Controversial. Don't care. And then the last one I wrote down is that's just the way it is. I understand that that is the way that it is. I understand that sometimes there's nothing we can do about it and we have no control over the situation. And I understand that you want me to just accept that I have no control and to just find a way to exist. It's true. You're right. However, just because you can't control it doesn't mean you're supposed to just stomach it. Just accept it. Just push it down deep and not think about it. Like you get to experience all the emotions, you get to be angry and you get to rage and you get to vent and you get to express that injustice. And then maybe you will be able to slowly come to terms with the fact that there's nothing you can do about it. But just because you can't control it doesn't mean you're supposed to just live with it. There's a kernel of truth in every single one of the things that I've said, right? Like there's always some truth in it. The problem is it's a kernel of truth in a bucket full of shit. And I'm tired of eating shit. Yeah, literally. I'm tired of eating shit. I am sick and tired of being given one of those pop cork buckets of shit and being told to sift through for the kernels. I'm not doing that anymore. Next time you find yourself in a situation where you are saying, like, I know I'm not supposed to, blah, 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 or I know everything happens for a reason, or I know that it's because I'm not trying hard enough, or you find yourself apologizing to your doctor, I know I'm fat, but next time you find yourself thinking to yourself, oh, it's my fault if I just follow the rules. Next time somebody tells you there's good and bad on both sides. Next time someone tells you to forgive and forget. Or, they just have your best interest at heart. I have your best interest at heart. Or what do you do, friends? That's just the way it is. I want you to remember that none of those things are 100% true. None of those things are 100% a lie either. There's something in the middle of it. But you shouldn't have to just put up with that. Just follow your old pal Asher. Stop being nice. Stop being nice about it. It was just wasted time. Too much energy. All right. Well, I don't know what I'm doing with the next episode. I've run out of notes. So I'm gonna have to come up with the next one. You also have to wait and see. But thank you very much for listening and you take care of yourselves and I'll see you next week.